Alright, now on to the other program. So today we're going to make this LED right here to turn on and turn off whenever I have the tactile switch pressed on the on position. So when it's on the on position, the LED should turn on, and whenever I release it, it should turn off. And later on the second part of this video, we're going to be making these two LEDs light up together whenever I have the tactile switch on. And currently I have that blinking LED because there is a present program on the microcontroller. Now make sure that your circuit has a power source. In my case there are 3 AA batteries. And now make sure that your cable is connected to your PC and circuit. So on to the program. Now this is the pickaxe software already opened up. Now, just like we did during the last lesson, let's set up some things before we start to program. So, first of all, in the Workspace Explorer, make sure that you have the proper microcontroller selected where there's pickaxe type. In my case, I'm going to be using the Pickaxe 08 M2. And then, since I have the cable connected to my PC, I'm just going to go ahead and click on Refresh COM ports. And make sure that your cable is visible. My cable is on COM3. And under here in the simulation section, I have an image of my microcontroller, and this image is going to help me later on to simulate my program. So I'm going to just see the pins turn on or off in that simulation section. So here we have our workspace. If you're not presented with a flowchart workspace, make sure to click on New Flowchart. Now in today's tutorial, I'm going to be following these instructions. So here I've designed a number of instructions for me to follow. So during the second code, we're going to be using the switch. Okay, and when the program starts, the system is going to check whether the switch is on or off. So when switch is pressed, therefore it's going to be on the on position, the right red LED will turn on. However, if the switch is released, therefore it's going to be on the off position, the right red LED will turn off. And then the program will restart again. Now in the start command, I'm going to be setting up the microcontroller's pins. I'm going to tell the program which pins I'm going to be utilizing as inputs and outputs. So let's go ahead and click on the start command. And here, as you could see, all my pins are set up. However, to make sure, let's recheck the table and see which pins are going to be inputs and outputs. Now here on my reference table, I have the list of pins of my microcontroller and the components to which they're connected to. Like for example, pin CO functions as an output and it's connected to the right red LED. And here we have that pin CO is already marked as an output. Pin C1 is connected to the LDR, therefore it's an input. Pin C2 is an output, it's connected to the piezo buzzer. And if you want to change one of these, all you have to do is just re-click it. Like for example, here I changed it into an input and then I changed it back into an output. All you have to do is just re-click the icon. Pin C3 now is an input and it's connected to the push to make switch, or in my case the tactile switch. And pin C4 is connected to the left red LED. And pin 5 is an input by default. So let's click on OK to confirm everything. Now let's start by designing our program. So according to the instructions, when the switch is pressed, the right red LED will turn on. So in this case, since we have a switch, the microcontroller will have to check whether the switch is on or off. So we're going to click and drag a decision command from the common section. So let's put the decision command a bit lower to the start. Click on the decision command to sort of tell the program to which pin you're going to assign this command to. Now in our case, the switch is connected to pin C3. Okay, so let's assign that command to pin C3. Alright, now in this command right here, I want C3 to turn on. Now remember that in the digital world, if you assign a 1 to your pin, it means that you're going to turn it on. If you assign a 0, it means that you're going to turn something off. Okay, so in this case, pin C3 has to be given a 1 to turn it on. Now let's change the cell label. Now to change the cell label, you have to first tick the edit box and then delete the decision word. And then we're going to write down this question. Is switch on? And then click on OK. Now when switch is on, an output is going to happen, so the right red LED is going to turn on. So let's click and drag an output command. So let's go to the common section and click and drag outputs. Remember that output symbol for flowchart is a parallelogram. Now let's click on outputs and assign it a pin. So in our case, the right red LED is connected to pin CO. So let's turn on pin CO, which is going to be a 1 symbol, a digital 1. And now let's change the cell label. Once again, tick edit and change the words underneath cell label. Let's write right red LED turns on. Click on OK to confirm everything. Let's state what's going to happen whenever the switch is off. Now from the common section, click and drag once again an outputs command, the parallelogram symbol. Put it right next to the decision command. And now we have to connect these two together. So let's go to the Home tab right here and click on Line. The cursor changes into a pen for you to create your flow lines. So create a flow line connecting the decision command with the output. Now let's change the cursor into a selection tool once again. So go to the Home tab and click on Select. Now let's click on the Outputs command for us to assign a pin. So once again, we're going to select pin C0, but this time we're going to give it a 0, since it's going to be turned off whenever the switch is released. Now let's edit the cell label. And let's type that right red LED will turn off. So right red LED turns off. Click on OK to confirm everything. And now let's check our program for any errors. So from the Home tab, click on Check. Now here we have an error message which is stating to us what is going to happen after each command. So let's go ahead and do that. Now, when the program finishes, so when the switch is off, I would want my program to recheck whether the switch is on or off. So here I'm going to create a loop. So one loop is going to come out of the right red LED turns on and the other one from when the LED will turn off. So let's change my cursor back into a line tool. And then let's create a line coming down from the right red LED turns on command. And then let's draw it. So this line, the arrows should point back to the start position. Make sure that all the arrows are pointing in one direction. So here the program is going to check whether the switch is on, and if switch is on, the LED will turn on and then it will restart again. Now let's connect the other output command of when the LEDs are going to turn off, and I'm going to connect a flow line to the loop. So once again the program will restart again, even when the switch is off. So when the program starts and the switch is on, okay, the red LED will turn on. So it will keep on moving in this circular motion. And then when the switch is off, the red LED, the right red LED will turn off. And it will take a different path. Alright, now let's change the cursor back into a selection tool, so click on Select. And now let's check the program for any errors. Here the program has compiled successfully, click on OK. And now let's try and simulate this program. So go to the menu bar and click on Simulate. And then click on Run to run the program. Now the switch is currently off. The switch is connected to pin C3. So currently it's taking this path of when the switch is off. Okay? And the right red LED, which is connected to pin C0, on the simulation section, it's showing that the pin is also off. So, if I were to turn on C3, as you could see, the program is taking a different path. C0 is turning on this time. So the right red LED would turn on whenever the pin turns on. Now I've turned off C3, and as you could see, the path has changed and C0 is turning off. Now let's go back to the Home tab and now click on Program to download our program, our designed program, into the microcontroller. Now notice that when you're downloading a program, an LED, one of the LEDs will light up. Don't worry, this is absolutely normal. It's just showing you that a program is being downloaded into the microcontroller. Now the LED has turned off. Now it's time for us to test the circuit. Now let's remove the jack plug. And let's test the switch. So whenever I press the switch, the right-hand LED should turn on. There you go. And whenever I release the switch, the LED will immediately turn off. Now remember that the switch and the LED are not directly electrically connected to each other, but they are indirectly connected to each other thanks to the microcontroller. So whenever the microcontroller receives an on signal from the switch, the LED then will light up. Okay, the microcontroller will send the signal for the LED. Now let's override our present program to make the two LEDs light up whenever I keep the tactile switch on. So here I plugged in once again my jack plug, and let's return to the program and let's edit some things. And now let's edit the first command, which is the output command of when the switch is on. So let's click on it. So in this command I want both CO, pin CO, the one which is connected to the right red LED, and pin C4, which is connected to the left red LED. I want both of these pins to turn on whenever the switch is on. So let's give a 1 to pin C4, that means on. And now let's edit the label. Tick edit and change the cell label. And now let's write both red LEDs turn on. Click on OK to confirm everything. Let's do the same to the other outputs command. So instead of a 1 symbol, a digital 1, to pin C4, this time I'm going to give it a 0. A 0 once again means off. Now let's edit the cell label and type both red LEDs turn off, and then click on OK. Once again, check for errors. Everything seems to be fine here. And now let's simulate once again. Go to the Simulate tab and click Run. Here, as you can see, it's following the path of when the switch is off. So let's turn on pin C3. And as you could see, this time on the simulation, where I have the image of the IC, both pin CO and C4 are lighting up whenever C3 is on. Now turn off pin C3 for the program to take the different path, and then you could stop the simulation. Go back to the Home tab now and let's program our program into the microcontroller. Now let's click on the program icon on the Home tab. And now let's wait for the program to download to our microcontroller. And now let's test the circuit once more. So let's remove the jack plug. And when the tactile switch is pressed, there you go, both LEDs will light up. And of course, both of them will turn off whenever the switch is released. Now, of course, you could make the buzzer make a sound whenever the tactile switch is pressed. However, that's a different code entirely. So remember to save your work once again and stay tuned for other videos.